"You're not a real man," she snapped, slamming her coffee cup down hard enough to crack it. I was wiping grease off my hands with a shop rag, standing in our tiny kitchen after a 10-hour shift at the garage. My back hurt. I hadn't even eaten dinner yet, and this was what I came home to. Rena stood there in her designer workout set. No workout in sight, arms folded, face twisted like I just kicked her dog. Trevor never made me miss trips. Should have married him instead. At least he was a real man. I stared at her for a second, letting that one sink in. My wife, my actual wife, just threw her ex in my face because I told her we couldn't afford to go on a damn ski trip. Not with the transmission nearly shot and that surprise $900 vet bill from last week. Quick note: before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I dropped the rag on the counter. "You still can," I said. Calm, quiet, just 4 words. She scoffed like I was bluffing, rolled her eyes, and went to grab her phone. "Oh, please." But I was already pulling mine out. A week ago, I'd installed a camera in the kitchen to keep an eye on our dog when we weren't home. It recorded audio too. I queued up the footage. There it was, her voice clear as day. Should have married Trevor instead. I took a screenshot, opened up Facebook Messenger. Found Trevor's name. He never blocked me, surprisingly. I attached the screenshot and typed, "Still interested? She's having regrets." He replied 2 minutes later, "Is this real? She left me deep in debt and told everyone I cheated. Tell her I'm good." Then he added, "The Rolex she brags I gave my girl? It's a Casio." I turned the phone toward her. "Here's your real man." She looked down, expecting something cute. Instead, her face dropped like a rock. She read the message twice, then a third time. Didn't say a word. She turned and bolted to the bathroom. Slammed the door. That was 3 days ago. And yeah, things got way messier from there. She didn't come out of that bathroom for the rest of the night. Next morning, she was gone. Left a post-it on the counter. "Need space. Staying at Mia's." I didn't chase her. Didn't call. Didn't text. I went to work, came home, walked the dog, ate dinner in silence. 2 days of peace. I almost forgot what that felt like. Then she went public. I was under the truck at the shop, my phone buzzing like crazy. Group texts, screenshots, Facebook tags. I slid out, wiped my hands, and checked. She'd posted a long Facebook rant with a selfie of her sitting on Mia's couch, looking all torn up and dramatic. When your husband humiliates you by contacting your ex to break you down, that's not love, that's control. Emotional abuse is real. Don't let anyone silence your pain. Underneath it, her mom Barbara chimed in, "You deserve better. Come home." Then her dad added, "You were always too good for him." That part didn't bother me. What hit different was the next comment, sitting like a live grenade in the thread. "Cassie, Trevor's girlfriend." She wrote, "The same Rena who tried dmang my man last month, asking if he ever thinks of her? You're not the victim here." Rena deleted the comment within 10 minutes. I already had a screenshot saved in 5. Quick note: before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from? It didn't stop there. A couple hours later, I got a call from the bank. "Hi, Mr. Jensen, we're calling to verify some activity. Someone attempted to access your savings account today using the mobile banking app." I clenched my jaw. Was there a withdrawal? No, just failed login attempts and one security question mismatch. "We've locked it temporarily for your protection." "Thanks. Keep it locked." She couldn't touch it. It was from before we were married. But the fact that she even tried, that told me exactly where this was going. That night I heard the knock. Sharp. Rehearsed. I opened the door and there they were. Rena, Mia, and Barbara, arms crossed like she was walking into court. Barbara didn't waste a second. "You've emotionally abused my daughter." Mia followed up like they planned it. "You've isolated her, made her feel worthless." Rena didn't say anything. She just stood there, eyes red, face stiff, acting like she was scared of me. I leaned against the doorframe. "Did you tell them about the messages to Trevor last month?" Everything froze. Barbara blinked. Mia glanced at Rena. Rena looked down. I grabbed my phone, opened the screenshots, and held them out. This one's from 4 weeks ago, I said, telling him you miss him, asking if he thinks about you. I swiped. And this one? That's Dylan, your coworker. 2 weeks ago. You called him tempting. Want me to keep going? Mia actually backed away. She looked at Rena like she didn't recognize her. Barbara just muttered, "What is this?" I said, "Reality." Nobody said a word. They turned around and left. No yelling, no slamming doors, just quiet retreat. Later that night, I heard her voice through the vent. She was on the phone with her dad, crying, begging, "Daddy, I need 4,000, just until things settle." I didn't catch his whole response, but I heard the end of it clear as day. "No, you made this mess. You clean it up." She hung up and started sobbing. I went back to the kitchen, cracked a beer, and sat down at the table. If she thought that was rock bottom, she had no idea what was coming. I was halfway through that beer when my phone rang again. This time, it was my mom. She was crying. "Why would you do that to her?" she asked. "Rena called me. She said you've been controlling the money, that she doesn't have access to anything and you're trying to leave her with nothing." I rubbed my eyes. "Mom, that's not true. She said she's trapped." I stood up, walked to the sink. "She has her own damn checking account. Always has. Full access. I've never touched it. My savings account? That's mine. Pre-marriage. Separate." She said. She lied. There was a pause. Then Mom's tone changed. "You want me to handle it?" I didn't hesitate. "Yeah. Okay." Click. Quick note. While you're listening, tell us which country you're watching from. 15 minutes later, I heard Rena's voice through the front door. Loud, angry, completely unhinged. She came bursting in like a storm in heels. "You sick bastard," she screamed, slamming her purse on the kitchen table. "You're turning everyone against me." I didn't flinch. "No, you lied." I corrected the record. Her face went red. "Your mom threatened me. Said if I lie again, she'll tell people I stole from her." I tilted my head. "You mean the $300 you took from her wallet last Thanksgiving?" She froze for a second, then charged ahead. "You've been waiting for this. I see it now. You want out? Fine. I want a divorce. Half of everything." I looked her dead in the eye, pulled my phone out, and started typing. "What are you doing?" "Looking up lawyers." Her mouth fell open like she'd been slapped. "You're not even gonna fight for our marriage?" I shrugged. "You told me you should have married Trevor. Seems like you made up your mind." She stood there like she couldn't believe I wasn't chasing her, that I wasn't begging. Then she dialed her dad right in front of me. "Daddy." Her voice softened into that fake little girl tone she always used when she wanted money. "He's not even fighting for me. He doesn't care." I didn't even pretend not to listen. He didn't know I could hear him, but his voice came through the speaker just loud enough. "You told him you wanted someone else," he said. "You made your choice." She went quiet. Her shoulders dropped a little. I walked past her, grabbed the rest of my beer, and went out to the back porch. I didn't slam the door, didn't curse her out, didn't even look back. She wanted war? Fine, I'd fight. But I wasn't fighting for her. I was fighting to end this mess. She didn't come near me the next morning. Instead, she took her broken pride and plastered it all over Instagram. "Rebuilding after emotional devastation. Prayers welcome." The caption sat under a selfie with her head tilted just right, fake tears, and a Venmo tag slapped below it like a billboard ad. Within an hour, Trevor sent her $10. The note said, "For therapy." She blocked him instantly, then stormed around Mia's house, throwing a full-blown tantrum, according to what I heard later, screaming that Trevor humiliated her again, that nobody took her seriously, that I sabotaged her healing. I didn't even react. I had bigger things coming. Quick note: before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. That afternoon, I got a LinkedIn message from someone I didn't know, Lacey, one of her coworkers. "Hey, just wanted you to know," she wrote. Rena's been asking people at the office to donate to her freedom fund. She says you're keeping her trapped and controlling the money. I stared at the screen for a minute, jaw clenched. Then she added, but she showed up to work yesterday in a brand new $500 jacket and posted about getting her nails done. Doesn't seem like she's that broke. I thanked her, told her if anything else came up, to send it along. She said she would. That night, around 7, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Dylan, Rena's coworker. The one she called tempting. He looked uncomfortable, kept glancing back at his car. I don't want trouble, he said. But I figured you should know. Rena showed up at my place 2 nights ago. Said she needed somewhere to stay. My girlfriend's pregnant. She lost her mind. I nodded slowly. Did Rena stay? No, he said. I didn't let her in. She came on to me at happy hour last week. I shut it down. Now she's telling people I acted inappropriately. I'm not letting her wreck my life. You willing to talk to a lawyer? He didn't hesitate. Yeah, I'll give a statement if you need one. I shook his hand. Appreciate it. An hour later, Rena came through the front door with shopping bags in both arms. Clothes, makeup, perfume. She dropped them on the couch like she just got back from war. I deserve nice things, she said, not looking at me. After what you've put me through. I laughed once, bitter and sharp. With what money? She ignored the question, stormed down the hall, then circled back into the living room, face tight. You don't get to judge me, she snapped. I'm healing. You're lying. To your family. To your job. To strangers on the internet. She grabbed a lamp off the end table and hurled it at the wall. It shattered. I didn't yell. Didn't move. I hit record on my phone and held it at my side. Let her show the world who she really was. She didn't speak to me for a week after the lamp incident. Just slammed doors, made phone calls in a whisper, and stalked around like I was the one who cracked. Then came mediation day. Rena walked in dressed like she was heading to a magazine shoot. Heels too high, lips too red, jacket way too expensive for someone claiming financial ruin. She was glued to the arm of her attorney, Carlton Rhodes. Slick suit, fake tan, shiny cufflinks. He looked like he practiced law on TV. Mara, my lawyer, leaned over and whispered, "He's all show. Don't worry." I didn't. We sat down across the long table, the mediator in the middle, all calm and professional. Carlton led with theatrics. My client is emotionally devastated. She requires support to maintain the standard of living she's grown used to. She's requesting alimony. Mara didn't flinch. She spent $2,800 last week on clothing, cosmetics, and luxury items. She slid the receipts across the table. Carlton scanned them. His eyebrows shot up. You spent what? Rena looked annoyed, like this was beneath her. I needed to present myself well. It's part of my recovery. The mediator raised an eyebrow. You have no children, a full-time job, and no known medical hardship. What exactly is the basis for alimony? Rena sat up straighter. He emotionally abused me. He messaged my ex just to break me down. I watched Mara calmly open her folder like she'd been waiting for that exact moment. She laid out printed screenshots. Here's the message history with Trevor. My client sent one screenshot and asked a single question. Here's what your client sent to him. Multiple messages, including a request to meet. She slid out a second stack. Here's a statement from Lacey, coworker of the respondent, detailing false claims of financial abuse and requests for donations. Another sheet. Statement from Dylan, also a coworker. He alleges that your client showed up at his home uninvited, attempted to initiate a romantic interaction, and began spreading rumors after being rejected. Carlton looked like his jaw unhinged. Rena turned pale, fully pale, like her whole blood supply evacuated. Carlton cleared his throat. We'd like to request a brief recess. They stepped out. Mara smirked, leaned back in her chair. She didn't prep him at all. 15 minutes later, Carlton returned alone, lips tight. He straightened his tie and said, "We're prepared to accept a clean financial split. No alimony. Each party retains their separate accounts and property." Rena burst back in behind him. No, I want pain and suffering. Carlton didn't even turn to her, just shut his eyes for a second. The mediator looked over the top of her glasses. Ms. Rhodes, you caused the pain, so you can suffer the outcome. Rena's mouth opened, then shut. For once, she had no script. The meeting ended with no handshake, no eye contact, just the quiet sound of her heels clicking toward the exit like it was someone else's life crumbling. I came home 2 days after mediation and noticed the hall closet was cracked open. That was weird. She never touched my stuff. Inside, the shelf where I kept my old camera gear was empty. Gone. Every lens, every body, even the vintage leather bag my uncle gave me when I started photography. I checked the garage. My motorcycle helmet was missing too. So were the signed racing posters from the shop. I had a bad feeling in my gut, pulled out my phone, opened Facebook Marketplace. There they were. My gear, my helmet, everything. Listed under a burner name, but the pictures were taken on our damn kitchen table. I knew the scratches on that table like my own hands. I didn't call her. I waited. That night, I sat in the living room and watched the clock. Around 7, headlights hit the driveway. A silver SUV pulled up, and some dude in joggers walked to the front door with his phone in hand. I opened it before he could knock. "You here for something?" I asked. He looked down at his screen. "Yeah, camera bag? $250. Before I could answer, Rena appeared behind me holding the damn bag. I stepped between them. "That's not hers to sell." The buyer hesitated. "She said it was." "It's not." She glared at me. "Get out of the way. I've got receipts for every piece in that bag. Bought it years before we were married." I turned to the guy. "Unless you want to risk being part of a police report, I'd walk away now." He backed up fast. "Yeah, I'm good. Forget it." He left. I shut the door. Rena lost it. "I need money, you selfish piece of crap." "Sell your own stuff then," I said. "Touch mine again, I call the cops." "You're bluffing." I wasn't. I already had everything documented. Receipts, serial numbers, pictures. So when the cops showed up 20 minutes later, after I called non-emergency, they listened, nodded, looked over the proof. One officer turned to Rena. "Ma'am, next time you try selling property that doesn't legally belong to you, you're getting arrested." She didn't say a word, just stood there, arms crossed, face hard. The cops left. Silence filled the house like smoke. That night, I was in bed trying to sleep when I heard her voice coming from the living room. She was using the landline. Didn't think I'd hear her. "Trevor, I just miss how things used to be. You were always so good to me. I messed up, I know. But your wife never has to know." Pause. "You're married now?" Her voice cracked. Another pause. Then she hung up and cried for an hour. She didn't even try to hide it. Just sat on the couch, curled up like the victim in her own mess. I laid there listening, eyes wide open, jaw clenched. She burned everything, and still acted like she deserved more. We sat on opposite sides of the courtroom. Last hearing, final shot. She wouldn't look at me, just whispered nonstop to Carlton like she was loading a weapon. The judge walked in, we all stood, and it kicked off like every other session. Tense, quiet, fake polite, until Rena cleared her throat and said, "Your Honor, before we proceed, I'm pregnant." She said it like she was dropping a bomb, eyes darting toward me, waiting for me to react. I didn't move, neither did Mara. The judge blinked. "You're claiming pregnancy. Do you have documentation?" Rena looked down. "No, but I can take a test. Right now." The judge sighed. "Fine. We have facilities. You'll take one immediately. Court will recess until results return." 10 minutes later, she walked back and holding a strip of paper like it was an award. Negative. The room went silent. The judge stared at her, no expression. "You just wasted this court's time with a lie. And considering your documented theft attempts and property damage, I'm issuing a fine $1,000. Carlton didn't even flinch. The judge continued, "No alimony. Clean financial split. No shared assets. No shared debts. Case closed." Gavel down. Carlton leaned over, didn't even bother whispering. You're on your own now. He stood, shook Mara's hand, and walked out. Outside the courthouse, I was halfway down the steps when she finally snapped. You ruined my life, she screamed behind me. Loud, raw, public. I turned around just long enough to look her dead in the eye. You wished for someone else, I said. You chased a fantasy. Not my fault it turned into a nightmare. Barbara grabbed her by the arm, tried to calm her down. Rena, come on. But she yanked away and shrieked like something out of a soap opera. You'll regret this. I didn't respond, didn't blink. Just walked to my truck, turned the key, and pulled away, finally free from the disaster she created. A week after the final hearing, I got a text from Lacey. Guess who got walked out by HR? Dylan had filed a formal harassment complaint. Rena showed up at his desk again, cornered him during lunch. His pregnant girlfriend was the final straw. She marched into the building and made a scene that got everyone's attention. Rena was fired by the end of the day. Security badge deactivated. Personal items boxed. Meanwhile, Trevor and his wife posted honeymoon photos, Italy. Amalfi Coast. Bright skies, no drama. Matching wedding bands and champagne glasses. Rena? She'd moved back in with her parents. Didn't stop her from staying online, though. Posting cryptic quotes, sad song lyrics, asking people to respect her healing. No one cared anymore. People saw through it now. I was getting gas one afternoon when I heard a voice behind me. Hey, Nate. I turned around. Mia. Hair pulled up, wearing scrubs, tired eyes. I nodded. Hey. She looked uncomfortable. Just wanted to say, I'm sorry. For everything. I didn't say anything. Let her talk. Rena always wants what someone else has, she said. She wrecked it with Trevor, and now she did it again with you. But I think you were the one she wanted to keep. She just didn't know how. Quick note. Before we move on, which city or country are you watching from? I leaned against my truck. She's still talking about Trevor? Mia rolled her eyes. Like she's entitled to him. She says stuff like, he still misses me. I know it. Even though he literally just got married. I shook my head. She ever take accountability? Never, Mia said. It's always someone else's fault. We said our goodbyes. She gave a sad smile and left. I drove home and didn't think much of it. Truth was, I was okay. Started hiking a little. Found a meetup group through a friend. Even sat down with a therapist. Didn't think it'd help much, but talking to someone without an agenda actually cleared a lot of fog. Couple weeks later, I went on a date with this woman named Lana. Met her through the hiking group. She was funny, sharp, honest. Over coffee, I told her the story. Left out the uglier parts, but gave her the gist. She didn't even blink. My ex stole my iPad, she said. Yours wins. We both laughed. It wasn't a fairy tale or anything, but it was the first time in a long while I didn't feel like I was bracing for impact. A few nights after the date with Lana, I was sitting on my couch, just flipping through shows and enjoying the quiet, when my phone lit up. Unknown number. Text said, "Can we talk?" No name, no context, just that. I didn't need context. I knew that tone. That kind of message only comes from one person after they've run out of ways to twist the story. I stared at it for half a second, then typed, "No," blocked the number, put the phone down, didn't think about it again. There wasn't anything left to say. Life was still. The kind of still you don't notice until you've lived in chaos long enough to crave silence. I had the apartment, my savings, my tools, and most importantly, my peace. I wasn't chasing dates or swiping around. I wasn't trying to fill a void. I was just figuring out who I was without her shadow hanging over everything. For the first time in years, I could breathe without waiting for something to blow up. No one was screaming. No one was blaming. No one was trying to break me down to build themselves up. If she had just said she was unhappy, if she'd just been straight with me from the start, we could have ended things clean. Split on decent terms. Saved each other the wreckage. But she didn't want truth. She wanted a fantasy. And she was willing to burn down everything to chase it. Me, her job, her reputation, her relationships. Some people don't want happiness. They want attention, and they'll trade stability for applause every single time. Me, I want peace, and I've got it now. Would you have replied to that final message or blocked it too? Drop your answer in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life stories like this.